Da 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 da. I got the power. Welcome everybody to our live episode of Savage Cash Stroke Savage Crypto. Here with me, Suppoman, your superhero of cryptocurrency, coming to you today on a Sunday. Now, I am a religious person. Well, relatively religious. I'm a Catholic, so I guess that, you know, I went to a Catholic school as well, so I guess that does make me slightly religious. But even on a Sunday, Suppoman works. Suppoman comes to you and brings you essentially some awesome content. So today, I'm going to be bringing you all of these items. So if you are interested in learning about cryptocurrency and learning about good cryptocurrencies, learning about ones that, you know, people aren't necessarily talking about, and I will do my savage analysis on it, then smash up the likes, give us a like spike essentially in appreciation, and help other people be seeing this because this is live. And the more likes this gets, the more visibility it gets. Why should Trevon James's, even though he, in the last video that he did, or second to last video he did, had featured me completely in entirety, I still don't want to give him any airtime. Why should he get all the visibility? So smash up the likes and also leave a comment. Let me know what opening riff you'd like me to cover. Today was I Got the Power, and it's very much relevant to what I'm covering today. So, in today's episode, I am going to recap on the market. The other day, Bitcoin was nearly at $8,000. So what is happening right now? What is booming? What is correcting? And what's looking hot today? So, market recap first. Then I am going to be speaking about Neo rumors. So there's been, they've got an announcement coming up, I think, in either tomorrow or the day after. They've got an announcement, and there are rumors regarding what is that announcement about. So I am going to be talking about that in this episode. Then we are going to be talking about getting the power. My goodness. This cryptocurrency is potentially the next powerhouse. Well, it is a powerhouse already, and potentially the next powerhouse cryptocurrency. So I'm going to be updating you and giving you a proper savage analysis on that crypto. Then I'm going to give you an update on Bitcoin's my #1 cryptocurrency. What's happening around that? I'm going to give you a little sneak peek on that today. And then I'm going to take some questions and give you answers. All right, so a lot to get through in today's episode. So guys, in appreciation, smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. So let's firstly go into the market recap. And actually, I'm going to be covering, I'm going to be very briefly covering a cryptocurrency today that's looking relatively tradable on some market news. Now, if you really want to know how to make profits daily in cryptocurrency, then this is really the course to take. The Cryptocurrency Trading Course 2017. If you haven't yet got it, I recommend you get it. It's just $10 in the description. I recommend you get this one. 252 ratings, a 4.6 star rating, and there are 300 or 400 more people than the last time I brought you this splash screen for the course. This one really takes you right from the beginning. If you're a veteran in cryptocurrency, then you may want to avoid the beginning. But if you're just starting out, if you want to know the difference between proof of stake and proof of work, if you want to know what masternodes are, if you want to know all of the different cryptocurrency types that you can invest in, that's what I start with in the basics. What's Bitcoin? What's Ethereum? What are altcoins? All that stuff. How to get set up. And then I talk about the real key strategies for short-term trading. When's the best time to be alert for a short-term trade to make savage cash? And then I take you through the technical analysis that identifies when is the right time to buy, when is the perfect time to sell, and when can you really make, you know, how can you make this a profitable business on a full-time or a part-time basis, okay? So, Mexico. Somebody asked me the other day, why do you keep saying so Mexico? That's just what I say. That's just one of my Suppoman isms. There are quite a few, like spike, like spike. Anyway, so the market cap today is absolutely phenomenal. 234 billion in the total market cap. That is incredible. Okay. Let me just get rid of this horrible BitConnect advert. So 55% is dominated by Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin was nearly 8,000 the other day, and now it's gone down, slightly corrected itself to 7,700. These are really the good times to spot dipping points for Bitcoin, because now it's on that trajectory of up. It's on that trajectory, and there's another rumor to be another fork happening in December, Bitcoin Silver. So that is one that's also going to drive up the value. So it's best to get in before the spikes. Get in before the spikes. Look for the dipping points. Ethereum. I spoke about Ethereum just the other day, saying that it had gone relatively stagnant. Now it looks like the top 10 cryptocurrencies have been under a spotlight. You know, people are now kind of... There seems to be a camp of people kind of diverting away from the altcoins and really splashing money into the more major cryptocurrencies, because these are the ones delivering growth. And of course, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash have really exploded recently, and so now Ethereum is having its time. Ethereum ultimately is probably the most developed and complete cryptocurrency platform and builders, so that's why it's certainly going up in value. Ripple had some market news the other day, and I think people are noticing that Ripple is where, if banks are going to be innovating, they're going to be using some of the Ripple technology and Ripple protocol for that, to enable payments between one bank to another, and also just to innovate the space, because they're going to get left behind, ultimately, unless they get behind this cryptocurrency boom. Litecoin is also thriving. I told you the other day it was thriving, and it's still making its real rapid acceleration towards $80. Having been at like the low 50s for some time. Dash is stabilizing around the mid 400 zone. So it has gone down a little bit, and now it's gone back up again. Now Neo. Well, I'll talk about Neo more in a minute, but that has had a huge pump recently. It's gone down a little bit, but it went over $40 again. Back Neo, you're back. Mwah! Thank you. Let me just make sure I'm live first. I haven't actually made sure I am live, because for all I know, anything could be happening right now. Literally, I could just be not live at all and just talking to no one. Ah, there are people. 842 people watching. Get in there, lads. Get in there. So, IOTA continues to thrive. Look at that. Let's take that off. Accidentally press that. Let me just make sure that the sound's working okay. Yeah, sound's working okay. And actually, it looks as if you can see me quite nicely as well today, because normally my green screen displays my chair or whatever, but now it looks like it's pretty good. Anyway, IOTA continues its increase. Okay, so finally, having dumped so low, and people get behind it, look what's happened to IOTA. It's gone right up. Lisk is nearly at $10, peeps. Nearly at $10. So having been at $5 for ages, when I brought you my Lisk video, I did my savage analysis on Lisk and told you essentially why this is going to be one of the big players in the future. It's essentially like the Ethereum in the mobile app area. It's like the builders for, you know, decentralized apps to put on the App Store and things. So this is the future of mobile applications. EOS is still... Yeah, I'm glad I never sold any EOS. People say, Superman, why did you sell EOS? Look, it's a rubbish crypto. Well, it's not. Omisco nearly at $8. Cardano really is traded on nothing. This is just people that are getting behind it, seeing that it's got some long-term potential. It has got long-term potential, but it's not going to be realized for some time. So I would, if you were interested in Cardano, I would wait for a good entry point, because this is certainly not it. It's up around, you know, the highest of where it's been. BitConnect going down with Bitcoin, as I've pointed out before. Komodo's making a return. Veritasium, I've never been interested in Veritasium. Not sure what your thoughts are on it, but certainly from my opinion, it's kind of too expensive to get involved in. I look for the cryptos where you can get involved in way under $10, and preferably under $1, so you can make the best gains. So I wouldn't be interested in getting behind Veritasium, really, no matter what people say. Walton has kind of just been going up and down, which is very surprising, because the other day, Box Mining did a video on Walton. I watched that video, and it was actually a really good video. It's always good to see life behind a name. So a lot of people just say, you know, Walton this, Walton that, Walton have got this coming up, Walton have got that coming up. And of course, people invest in the market news and in the roadmap and the things that are coming up. But you never really get to see a good sense. You never get to see a good kind of perspective behind day-to-day life at Walton's offices. And it was done in a really good way. I've seen some, you know, office tours that were terrible. But box mining's really good. So if you were ever interested in Walton, I like Walton. I think it's a very exciting project. I've personally already invested in it. So I would recommend that you have a look at that and see really what life is like behind the scenes, not just literally looking at a name all the time. Bitcoin's has gone up to $1.34. Have I missed one? I have missed one. Oh! Oh! I'm going to speak about that one next. Yeah, so, and look at metal. That's gone right down. The first time I looked at metal, it was at $11. And people were saying, look at metal, look at metal. I had a look and I thought it was quite impressive, but I thought at the time it was just too high in price, and now it's gone right down. Chainlink's at 16 cents. So there's some really good ones to get behind today. Some really good ones to get behind, and it's mostly a green day. But the one that I would like to talk about today is this one. Okay, this Powerhouse crypto, which I identified as my #1 ICO back in September. Now there were already some really good competition back in September. There was Utrust. That was when Utrust was actually going to launch in October. There was Icon. There was Presearch. There were some really good cryptocurrencies that were, you know, emerging at that time. Icon was sold out every time, you know, the sale went open for the ICO. Powerledger, on the other hand, took a little bit of time to actually get going. And I hope that my video really helped them, because since entering the market, this has been making waves. This has been making electricity, people. Electricity. So in today's episode, I'm going to be focusing on Powerledger. Now, one of the reasons why I'm focusing on Powerledger today is because I asked on Twitter earlier, I said, guys, what do you want a video on today? 81 responses, and there were a good third of people saying Powerledger, Powerledger. Talk about Powerledger. I've spoken about Powerledger before, but I'm going to speak about it again. So, Mexico. So let's talk about Powerledger. Let's do some savage analysis on ye old Powerledger. So if you're excited to learn more about Powerledger, smash up the likes, people. Let's have a look and see how the likes are looking right now, because there are over 1,000 people watching. Over 1,000 people watching. Thank you very much for watching, guys. So smash up the likes. I will join you right now. Smashed, like, smashed. So, Powerledger. So why is Powerledger so exciting? Why has it come on the scene all of a sudden? People probably never saw my ICO video. They probably think, what the hell is with this Powerledger? Why is it soaring the way that it is? So, let me tell you all about it. So, Powerledger is essentially a blockchain-based utility stroke electricity supply cryptocurrency. Okay, so it's looking to change essentially the way electricity is supplied and bought. So instead of, you know, typically, let's talk about the UK, for instance. In the UK, you buy from a utility company. There are tons of utility companies that offer electricity. Now, this is all fine and good. I've got money. A lot of people have money. But what about the people that are struggling a little bit with money? Okay, electricity companies, one of the biggest pains in the whole utility market, really, from just a normal consumer's perspective, just from a normal everyday person running a household. What is the issue? The issue is household bills. You want to keep your bills down low as possible so that you have savings, so you have, you know, money to save, you know, put into a pension, money to save for food and for, you know, Christmas is coming up. It's the time you need money, right? The last thing you want is for your bills to go up, your electricity, your water, your gas. You don't really necessarily want the burden of that going up. But year on year, there's a monopoly on the utilities business. There's a monopoly in terms of who supplies the electricity and who you can go with and how much they cost. And they just get progressively more expensive because, well, they've got a monopoly. You know, they've priced out a lot of the people trying to enter the market, in which case you kind of have to pay the prices. Okay, and they've got big sales efforts going into getting people behind, you know, getting customers and stuff. So you get bought in, and then all of a sudden the next year, bang. Slap bang, you're getting told that your electricity bills have gone up. Powerledger is the answer to that. So, what are the positives? So I'm going to be speaking about the positives, why you may want to invest, if you haven't already. The negatives, why you may not want to invest. So basically, counteracting the positives, and then giving my final rating, which is a star rating out of 5, then letting you know, am I going to be investing, and if I am, or whether I am or not, what your strategy should be if you're thinking about investing. All right, so what are the positives? So essentially, they're looking to make electricity cheaper. All right, so how it works is that essentially it's all done on solar power energy, right? So there are lots of people that have solar panels on their roof. They generate the electricity, and they have got more than they need. So this is a way of recycling it, essentially. This is like green energy, I suppose is a good way of putting it. And if people need energy, well, really, one of their options right now is via utility company, and one of the most expensive, arguably. But what they're looking to do is they're looking to do peer-to-peer electricity trading. So if somebody's got too much electricity, and then you've got another person, you've got Y, which has a lot of electricity generated via solar panels, or X, and then you've got Y, who is needing electricity, and has to fork out a lot of money going via the utility. Now they're offering a solution where X can supply Y with cheap electricity to run the household. So they're looking to make electricity cheaper. They are essentially disrupting the utility businesses. And the people who have got solar panels on their roofs essentially can have their own utility business. They are supplying energy and electricity to people. So they're essentially running a utility. So that's really amazing. That's why I really subscribe to this, because this is taking it to a different level. Okay, rather than it just being based on, you know, rather than it's just cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrencies of value, of which there are tons, we're looking for platforms that actually make a difference. And this is one of them. So essentially it gives the ability to buy and sell solar power electricity. Okay, that is essentially the nub of it. In summary, that is what it enables people to do. Now, the blockchain is used as a database. Okay, so the database, so when electricity is generated, that information is stored on the blockchain. And then the transactions, the buying and selling of electricity, is also on the blockchain. So that's how the blockchain is used and how it's relevant in the context of Power Ledger. Now, there are two units really used within Power Ledger. The first one is power, which is essentially like the bond, which is essentially for the application hosts, as they call it. So if you are wanting to supply, you need to have power to do that. Now, the actual units, so what people are buying from you, are sparks. Okay, so sparks, not spark, as it's here. It's sparks. Now, a spark is not related necessarily to power. So you're not paying. So if Power Ledger's 40 cents like it is today, you're not paying 40 cents per unit. That's where the differentiation comes from. That's why Spark is like the separate unit of electricity. That's what you buy. You buy in Sparks, and Sparks is available at the lowest common denominator. It's at the lowest possible sum you can get it for in your currency. Whether that's 1 cent or 1 penny, that is how Sparks is intended to work when it comes to the buying and selling of electricity. You do it via Sparks, but power is essentially the bond, or the license, I suppose is another way of putting it. So what are one of the big reasons why people like Power Ledger? Really, it's because of the credibility that it's got and the interest it's got from high-powered people. Okay, so number one, we've got Bill Tai, who is listed as their kind of chief investor and their chief advisor as well. Now, Bill Tai was in one of the original Silicon Valley companies. So he started early, got started in the tech industry very, very early. He's a Harvard graduate, or Ivy League graduate. And yeah, he's got a lot of experience. Having somebody like him on the team is nothing short of golden value. Okay, because you're not just having some nobody that you've never heard of. When you look at the advisors, when you look at the people on the team, if you look and you see absolute nobodies, it doesn't necessarily give you the confidence as an investor that they are going to deliver on their promises, deliver on their roadmap, deliver value constantly. Bill Tai being on their investor pack, being one of their investors and being one of their advisors is of massive significance to their long-term value. Then we've also got Richard Branson. Now, if you've been looking at if you type in Dr. Gemma Green on Google, one of the biggest, one of the pictures that you will see most often, the most popular pictures is her, Gemma Green, the co-founder of Power Ledger, with Richard Branson. Okay, now Richard Branson, obviously, he needs no explanation really, is probably one of the top entrepreneurs in the world is invested in Powerledger. Okay, that gives it a massive kind of sense of credibility, you know, because he obviously is like look at like Dragon's Den. Okay, he's like one of the ultimate dragons, or Shark Tank, or whatever your version is. In UK, it's Dragon's Den. You go to an investor and you say, you know, this is my idea, blah blah blah. This is the roadmap, blah blah blah, and this is how much you can, you know, how much you can invest, blah blah blah, and you get a percentage of it. That's essentially what Powerledger did with Richard Branson. Okay, now Richard Branson obviously won't put his money behind any old rubbish. Okay, so they went to him. He's invested. So clearly, he sees the potential. And that is why it's really, you know, it had that credibility going into the ICO. Gemma Green, Dr. Gemma Green, is actually one of the biggest reasons why Powerledger is so valuable. Okay, now, she wasn't Mayor of Perth when I did the ICO, but she has enormous influence. She networks a lot. She is really visible in the industry and in Australia. And she is one of the most determined people I know. Now, brand Gemma Green, the Gemma Green effect, really is what I call it. That is one of the big reasons why I think Powerledger is destined for high value in the future. Because she is a powerhouse in herself. But now she's the Mayor of Perth, which is a very recent development. This happened after ICO. She's become the Mayor of Perth. So not only does she have, you know, the determination, not only does she have kind of power, I suppose, in terms of her name anyway, but now she's got political power because she's Mayor of Perth. And she's got a utility team behind her. Now, one of her co-founders has actually got 20 years in the utility business and has worked for 2 massive utility companies. Okay, so team-wise and founder-wise, these guys have a superstar team. Now, they have won, this is one of the latest developments. This happened on Friday. They won an $8 million or multi-million dollar grant for the Powerledger project in the city of Fremantle. Okay, so this is developing Powerledger. This is essentially putting the idea into action. Okay, so this is where the value is also being kind of grown in Powerledger, because they're only going to now expand. They're using this as a really good example of how it works and how it adds value to a certain city, right? So they've already got customers all around the globe, by the way. So they are going to incrementally be having evidence to show why this works and why it is adoptable in other countries. Now, Powerledger are unique in their field. There are quite a lot of cryptocurrency currencies. Okay, so there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Litecoin, there's Digibyte as well. There's quite a lot of currencies, okay? There's quite a lot of platforms that do the same thing as well. There's quite a lot of people trying to be the next Neo. So as well as people trying to be, as well as companies trying to be the next Bitcoin, cryptos trying to be the next Bitcoin, there are now cryptos trying to be the next Ethereum. Neo, Lisk, Metaverse, they're all trying to be like the next Neo. But one that's unique is this. I mean, this is the kind of project that you don't really see. It's one of those ones that really grabs your attention because this is taking the use of blockchain technology to another level. This is how blockchain really can be applied within business, and this is a perfect example of how. And it solves an actual pain. One of the biggest criterias I have when investing in an ICO is that they are actually looking to solve a pain, not a perceived pain. Not like, look, we're trying to solve this, and people say, oh, because they're trying to solve something, that gives it value. No, these guys are actually trying to solve a pain. Back in September, somebody actually tweeted me and said to me that lives in Australia and said that Powerledger is really the answer to their energy woes. They're really providing a solution to all the people that are finding electricity really hard to afford. So this is solving an actual pain that can be adopted worldwide. Now, they've got listings. They've got listings on Bittrex, which is arguably the most popular exchange in the Western world because it has most of the cryptocurrencies that you would want to invest in. The ones that are credible that you'd want to invest in. Some of the minor ones that, you know, haven't been around very long or are unproven, they're not on Bittrex. But ones that have credibility and Bittrex actually want to have on their platform, that shows you that they see Powerledger as being a very credible project. They're also on Binance, Ether Delta, and Cryptopia. They're also on another one called Gate something. I don't know. Never heard of it. But what I'm saying is that not only are they on one of the most popular, but they're also on some minor ones. So there's still some opportunity for growth. They can still get listed on Poloniex. There's still the decentralized exchanges coming out. So there's a lot of life left in, you know, getting value from listings. But being on Bittrex shows real credibility. And then the roadmap. Okay, so they've got a roadmap taking you through to Q3 of 2019 listed on their white paper, and there's going to be more. And I know in the future what they're looking to do is they're looking to add a feedback system as well, so that, you know, the people buying electricity for somebody, they can rate that person, meaning that actually builds a business. It's almost like an eBay type of business, like a trust-based business. You know, you're not just buying from anybody. You can actually buy from credible people that have been rated highly. So this is turning it, evolving it from just an idea into quite a successful business that's got almost like a kind of sorting filter to allow you to find the best people and therefore get the best allow Power Ledger to create the best reputation. So I obviously love Power Ledger. I mean, I invested in this at ICO stage, which I told you at the time. And of course, Dr. Gemma Green and I have a great relationship, and her dog Dexter and Millie, they get on really well and all that, save for a few bites and nicks every now and again. But what are the negatives? So let's have a look at the negatives of Power Ledger, okay? Because there are some, okay? And it's important for you to know what they are. So one of them is that it's got 1 billion total supply, which puts it kind of in the EOS Civic kind of area. And why I bring these up is because a lot of the lower coin supply coins grow. They grow. I mean, like for instance, nine-figure coin supplies are my favorite because that doesn't grow too fast, but at the same time doesn't grow. If it tanks, it doesn't tank so quickly that all of a sudden you've lost all your money in the space of a few hours. Okay, but I like that kind of total supply. But when it goes to 10 figures, 1 billion, it moves quite a bit slower. So look at Civic, very promising project that's not moved from the late 20s, early 30s for about a couple of months. Okay, EOS also has found it very difficult, despite heavy investment, moving up the chain. But having said that, the circulating supply of Power Ledger is 350 million. Okay, so it's low 9 figures, lowish 9 figures. So it's allowing really good constant growth at the moment. Now, the rest of it, the kind of 650,000 million other Power tokens, a lot of them are held in escrow over the next 1 to 3 years, and some of them are held by the team as well. So they're not actively looking to dilute their brand, but it is just something that you need to be wary of, that there are going to be more Power tokens released over time over the next few years. Adoption. This is a biggie, okay? So obviously I've told you the pain it solves and the fact that these utility companies have allowed to be monopolized because, well, you know, the way they've grown their business and the way they keep on, you know, and because of the way they essentially monopolize the supply is one of the reasons why they're able to charge what they want. And centralized bodies, governments, and the national grids, they're not going to be wanting to allow Power Ledger to exist. They're going to be anti-Power Ledger because they're not going to want for them to themselves to not make big profits. The heads of these companies are not going to want to go from 7-8 figure salaries to all of a sudden 6 figures and less money being distributed. They're not going to want to do this, so they're going to try and phase it out, okay? So the adoption, being able to be adopted country to country, is going to be harder because they're going to run into the problems of the national grids. However, what these guys are doing is they are looking to create more microgrids so that they can actually dominate some of the areas that are monopolized. So I see this as something that's going to enable them to grow despite centralization, like it does with Bitcoin, trying to stop a cryptocurrency from growing and thriving in a certain area. But this is just something to be wary of. This is a big reason why it can't just be adopted worldwide straight away, everybody getting cheap electricity. It relies on people actually using solar panels. That, you know, people, I mean, in the UK, there's a handful of companies that use solar, a handful of houses in my area that have solar panels. So how much can this be, you know, how much can this be adopted worldwide? Well, that is something that you've got to consider. not only centralized bodies, but how many people actually use solar panels. Now in Australia, I know they use it a lot more. They actually have the sun, unlike the UK, which today we've got sun for some unknown reason. Anyway, so yeah, so there we are. Next, legality. So not only do they have to kind of waver around centralization, they've also got to waver around legality as well. It's illegal for just anybody to go sell energy in certain countries. You know, not in every country do they have a system like they do in Australia where you can just sell it to any old person. You know, me, just all of a sudden, I'm an electricity provider. You know, that can't just happen in every country. So it is illegal. So there's a way that they've got to either negotiate around these objections or just kind of leave these places well alone. So that's something that I'm looking to see how it progresses in future. Then there's also this other kind of thinking. You know, is it just a fad? Is Power Ledger hot because it's just been released, it's just got on Binance, Bittrex? Is it going to be just a fad? You know, like COS, like Chainlink. Well, Chainlink isn't necessarily a fad, but you know, in cryptocurrency, things move so fast and companies get left behind very easily. Now, COS was about 27 cents, nearly 30 cents. People were thinking this is the next big exchange, stroke smart contracts platform, stroke everything, including the kitchen sink. And Chainlink, everybody was saying this is also one of the big smart contract companies of the future, allowing API connection between certain payment systems and social network systems and databases with smart contracts. And then all of a sudden, the hype died down, and now they're virtually nowhere. Chainlink is now nearly lost two-thirds of its value, and COS has lost about two-thirds, if not more, of its value, nearly three-quarters of its value. So people are going to be thinking, is this just a fad? Is Power Ledger here now but gone tomorrow? So that's something that also is there to consider. But what I would say is that Power Ledger's been a name that's been around for a while. Chainlink kind of exploded and then went nowhere. Power Ledger's been around in people's periphery since September, and it's nearly December, and it's still around, and it's still thriving. So as far as I'm concerned, it's here to stay. But there's also going to be this thinking where people think it's a fad. Now, I personally thought that COS wasn't that great a project. Chainlink, I think, is. But it's very easy for a cryptocurrency to be hot one day and not the next. However, Power Ledger just continues to thrive. So this is breaking that illusion right now. But something to definitely consider is this is an early stage, which is perfect if you want to get into a cryptocurrency very early at its cheapest price before it blows up. All right. But at the same time, being at early stage means that it has to prove itself. Should have been, a lot of cryptocurrencies people invest in have been around a year or so or more before they actually, right, this is a long term, it's here to stay, it's been around a year, it's survived, it's been around 2 years, it's survived, and it continues to thrive. The project's team is still active. These are things that you can't apply to Power Ledger right now. You know, so you don't know if in a year's time they're still going to be around. However, going through, I suppose, the positives I have about the team, where they've come from, and where they're going, and how they're progressing so quickly. I mean, look at Gemma. Like, already, you know, since that development, she's already become Mayor of Perth, and they're signing business deals all the time. Gemma's always signing business deals. She tells me a lot that she signs, you know, she's doing a deal, big deal here, big deal there. So, as far as I'm concerned, although this is early stage, gives all the signs that this is one that's here to stay. So, Mexico. So what's my final rating for Power Ledger? So, Power Ledger gets 4.5 stars. Not quite top marks, but nearly top marks. So it's 4.5 stars out of 5. So that is pretty epic. Okay, that's a pretty high score. In fact, I think that's the highest score of any crypto I have covered so far. Am I investing? Yes. Well, I have invested. Now, what's the strategy for this? Well, I mean, there are people that are making great money short term. People that invested at maybe 8 cents literally a couple of weeks ago, and now it's at 40 cents. That's huge. That's like, what's that? That's 5 times gain. Massive gain already. 5 times, 6 times, whatever. Well, it was about 6 cents actually. So what's that? That's nearly 7 times gain. Okay, so it's 6 times gain, around about 6 times gain on average. So that's great for the short term, but to make the real money, with short term, if you put in large sums, you get large sums, really extremely large sums back when you make 6 times gain. If you're investing 1,000 to 10,000, that's where you play the long-term game, because, you know, making 3, 5, 6,000 on a short-term trade, okay, it's okay. You could nearly buy 1 Bitcoin, but really you want to stay in it till you can buy 100 Bitcoin. Okay, so that's like the time when you need to get involved in a cryptocurrency, in an early stage one. So long term is the strategy for this, peeps. Long term is the strategy. So guys, I'm going to open it out to you now. Are you guys going to be getting involved, or are you excited about Power Ledger? Let's just have a quick comments spike. Let me know yes or no. Are you interested in Power Ledger? Does this sound like a good long-term crypto? Let's see what you guys are saying. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Buy, buy, buy. Yes. I'm in. Yes, yes, yes. No. Yes, yes. Already involved. Yes, no, no. And they're all coming. No, 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 not right now. I have it. Yes, Suppo. Yes, yes. Got the power. Got the power. Yes, no. Loads of yeses in terms of the average. There's probably 80% more yeses. 80% your messes. 80% more yeses. Right. I actually skipped one, didn't I? So let's go back to So let's have a look and see how Power Ledger's doing right now. It's gone down a little bit. So you got to look for the good entry points, peeps. You got to look for the good entry points. So let's have a look now at Neo. So Neo has pumped recently. So let's have a look at Neo. I'll look at questions very shortly. There's a lot of questions coming up. So let's have a look at Neo. So Neo at the moment is sitting at $38. But this has got up to, well, look at that. Look at that. It's got up to 48. I think that's hit an all-time high, in fact. Let's have a look. Let's just go even closer. Yeah, well, it's hit an all-time high, 48.09. I think the highest it ever achieved was 48. It might have been over 50, I don't know. I think it was 48.06. So this has hit an all-time high. And one of the reasons is because of this article the other day from rmbtheory.com. So let's just go up to the top. So, what they said in this article, is China allowing ICOs again? So China has been cracking down on ICOs and cryptocurrency exchanges, but the tides are changing. It seems that China is once again allowing ICOs to make use of China's market under one condition, and that condition is that Neo has to be the cryptocurrency that is kind of based on. It's based on the Neo blockchain. It's based on the Neo technology. Okay, that's what they're saying. So they're saying that they are allowing ICOs. This article is saying that China is allowing for ICOs to come back, but that they kind of show off their quality by being linked with Neo rather than just being, you know, a Chinese ICO that's exclusive of Neo. That's kind of what it said. So it said here, Neo has put an announcement up in Chinese. In this mysterious announcement, it says that in 3 days, Neo will give us some news. This news is most likely regarding the future of Neo as a whole, but this future will most likely be the future of China when it comes to crypto. A sign of strength, China is looking to partner with Neo for the long term in regards to blockchain and crypto. All right, now, what is the legitimacy of this? So, it's regarding an announcement that hasn't yet come out, essentially. So what that says, to me, is it's not confirmed, obviously. This is just a speculative theory, the RMB theory, whatever that stands for. So this is looking to be, this is a speculative piece that is essentially generating, I suppose, renewed interest in China, renewed interest in Neo, which really got beaten down as a result of what happened in China a couple of months ago at the beginning of September, where we had two kind of big things happening, which was firstly about ICOs being banned, which subsequently did happen. It was not only a rumor, but it subsequently happened, where now ICO company in China can't openly market themselves in China. Okay, so it's, yeah, they get arrested basically if they do that. But and then what happened was that China actually banned exchanges, and we saw 3 closing. Okay, now one of the answers I gave to this is Aphelion, which is a cryptocurrency that's a decentralized exchange based on the Neo blockchain and has some real value in the sense that it will allow people in China to have a decentralized exchange on their computer that's free of internet controls, government controls. So that's going to enable them to get back into cryptocurrency rather than using a VPN, which at the moment would be the method of getting around the blocks and the sanctions. But it's not wholly effective. Aphelion would be. But going back to this article, it's not saying with absolute certainty that that's what NEO's going to be announcing. Now, NEO are absolute geniuses when it comes to speculation, because AntShares was, an AntShares speculation is why it became as big as it was. It was absolutely nowhere when it was AntShares. And then they had an announcement coming up which brought it into the Western world's periphery. And that's why it spiked up, where it went up to like $10, 10 or so dollars and more. And then it kind of dipped massively. And this is when I got involved in it, because I'd missed the big opportunity to get involved in it. But once I actually did my research and brought it to you guys, I said this guy's is going to be the next big cryptocurrency. And from that point, absolutely spiked up in value. Look, over $48 this went up to. Now, although it doesn't look like it, it's because the orange is BTC price. So although it doesn't look like it's gone up, it's only reduced. Like, this is the same value. That spike to that spike is the same value in dollars, but in Sats value it's different, because obviously Bitcoin was much cheaper back at this point than it is here. But the real one to look at right now, right here, is the dollars and how much it's worth in dollars to you. Okay, so this is about where it was. So this announcement has generated this renewed interest in NEO, and it's gone right up. But since there's been, the kind of interest has died down, the hype has died down, right, this may not be the full truth. What these guys are saying, it may be what they announce, it may not be what they announce. Now, NEO is a highly respected cryptocurrency, but is this the answer China's looking for? Essentially, the whole reason why China have tried to, I suppose, they've tried to control ICOs, Chinese ICOs. They've tried to really try and control it because they don't want people losing their money. They don't want people getting burnt, which has happened and probably will continue to happen. Where people invest in an ICO and then all of a sudden, bang. The site goes down, you never see them again, your money's lost, like Eros, Vision. That happened very recently. People say, what happened? Where's my money? And it did happen. And a lot of people that got involved with BitPetite as well, they put a lot of money into it, just kind of went. And so China are looking to stop people getting fleeced or getting robbed, essentially, by the lack of regulation in the crypto space, particularly regarding ICOs. So they've tried to control it and help their people out, and they are really tight when it comes to mentioning crypto, ICOs, Chinese ICOs in China. So long and short of it is that it could be, it could not be. It could be, but like I said, the mystery surrounding this announcement, it could literally be anything. Could be something significantly major. Could be that China are lifting the ban. There's been a lot of talk of that recently, so the fact that NEO are coming out and saying this is either extremely intelligent on their behalf to make the value go up, or because there's some legitimacy behind it. So, will it happen? I don't know. It's the pure and simple fact. But that, I hope, puts some context behind, well, no one knows. It's an announcement at the end of the day. You don't necessarily know, unless you're in the know, what's going to happen there. So, anyway, so that's just something to be wary of, that may not be necessarily what the announcement is. So, but what I will say, let's just have a look, and I always get their thingy wrong. Aphelion. Aphelion, though, is a NEO-based cryptocurrency that is currently available at ICO stage. Okay, so there is an ICO in progress at the moment, and this is a decentralized exchange that is looking to solve the problem. Now, I've done a Savage Crypto episode on this already, so yeah, it's up to you to have a look at it. But what I would say is that this is definitely an answer to that big pain. But we have to keep tabs on what's going to be happening with that NEO announcement. So you will certainly hear from me when it happens. Now, Bitcoins. What's the update on Bitcoins? Well, what I will say is, without kind of giving any precise time and date, is that an announcement is coming very soon. Okay, possibly around about the time of the NEO announcement. So I can't really say when, but what I can say is that it's coming soon. Because there's been a lot of people, I don't know if any of you are actually invested in Bitcoins or are interested in investing in Bitcoins, then where I would recommend you go is to the official Bitcoins Telegram chat. Because that's where you've got Shingo and Stephen Corliss, and they are both... they're just both brilliant at answering questions. They're very active in the community. And they are assets, really, to Bitcoins. And they are... and if you want to know more, go into that Telegram chat. But in Telegram, what they're constantly saying is, when's the news? When's the news? So I believe it's coming out very soon. Very soon. So, you know, so just to give you a kind of renewed sense of when something's going to happen, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be happening very shortly. Not today, but it is going to be happening very shortly. So, and that's all I can really say on the matter. So that's it, guys. I think that is it for my my list of topics. Have I missed anything? Market recap, NEO rumors, superpower, update on Bitcoins, question and answers. So there was something, actually. I said I was going to talk about a good short-termer. So one that people have been asking me to cover for a long time is this one, HTML Coin. Now, HTML Coin are going to be doing a coin swap tonight, but look at that circulating supply, basically 40 billion. It's not the highest, you know, but it reflects in the price, 0.0003. So they're having a coin swap, and I actually asked people, because I haven't covered HTML Coin, and there's a big need. If you're a cryptocurrency guy, if you're cryptocurrency in one of these groups, then you may want to have a look at this poll. So I'm getting a lot of requests to cover the following. So if you want me to cover one of these next week, then do so and just vote in my poll on Twitter. But there is a coin swap happening on HTML Coin. And that coin swap is essentially they are swapping their old HTML5 coin for a new HTML coin. And that is going to make the following changes. So it's going to have the following changes on here. So you can see this on my Twitter. Okay, so... you know, how relevant that is, I don't know. But the fact they're doing a coin swap is market news that's potentially tradable. So just to let you know about that. And also follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. www.twitter.com/MichaelSupo. That's my real name. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. So let's now go back to the questions and see what you guys are saying. Because I know that certainly one of the things I don't do and I want to do more often is speak to you guys in the chat. So let's see what you guys are saying. Also, guys, smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. Let's have a look and see what's happening. 1,200 people watching, guys, but only 435 likes. So, guys, smash up the likes, will you? So, what are you guys saying in the chat? Wank chain. You trust? Should I buy Bitcoins even though it's at an all-time high? One of my Bible bits of advice and is that you should never normally buy a crypto at an all-time high, or during the peak. Now this isn't currently the all-time high. The all-time high was a couple of days ago, went up to $1.40, so it's not its absolute all-time high. But what I would say is that there are exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions, and one particular exception is when there's market news. So if we just go back to the NEO example, okay? So there was market news. There was an announcement coming up about, basically the NEO rebranding, which meant that, NEO or Ant shares had been virtually nowhere for ages, 50 cents, 90 cents, $1, and then all of a sudden, bang, it went up to $3.81. And at this point, people were probably saying, should I buy in? It's at an all-time high. And, people that were in the textbook kind of thinking were probably thinking, well, no, I shouldn't buy at the all-time high because that gives me the highest risk of getting burned. But you have to look at it in terms of the market news. If there's current market news, the price can go up anywhere kind of from 20% to 5,000%. So from that, so look at it from that perspective. NEO went from $3.81 to literally days later $10.05. So that was essentially a 3 times gain from the all-time high it was at that point. So investing during all-time highs is risky, but at the same time, it all depends on in the context of what's actually being said about the crypto. If there's nothing being said and it's being it's either being hyped or pumped and dumped by a pump and dump community, then I would definitely recommend don't get involved. But when there's market news, sometimes you can't help but get involved if you're late to the party in getting involved at an all-time high. So you've kind of got to balance your risk aversion kind of personality or mentality with the opportunity and where it's likely to go. I can't personally say how high this is going to go. This could go up anywhere between, you know, $1.50 to $4. You never know. It all depends really on how the market are feeling about it and what they want to do about it. So that's my advice. Rupee. Suppo Kid's here. Guys, say hi to Suppo Kid. He's watching. I'm going to be seeing him straight after the stream. Hive. So Hive is one that I'm... Did I put it down here? It should be down here. Yeah, Hive is one of the ones that I may cover. Whichever wins this poll will definitely get covered. Either way. You know, whether it's a crap coin or whether it's a great coin, who knows? But it will definitely get covered either way. So I'm likely to cover it. InvestFeed I spoke about the other day. InvestFeed, if you didn't watch my live video the other day, InvestFeed have finally introduced monetization. You've now got the tips underneath people's posts and stuff. So let's have a look. InvestFeed Suppoman. Let's have a look and see if it shows up on mine, so I can show you an example, a live example. Can you get active mods in your... Hold on a minute. Yeah, so here we are. So look, so I got some tips from this actually. So I put this post. I revealed it live during the actual episode, which was a... They got to sort their time zones out because it wasn't 9:38 my time. It was about 3:38 my time. And I did get tips. So basically, when you put a post, if you've got your wallet enabled, if you've got your ERC20 wallet linked up to your InvestFeed account, then you can get tipped and you can tip. And you get officially tipped 10 cents each time. You trust. A lot of people saying you trust, you trust, you trust. Utrust, I think, it's an ICO that I've covered that got a high rating in Savage Crypto. So I think that Utrust is essentially like, it's a payments platform that's got, it's like PayPal, I suppose, and it's got buyer and seller protection, which is better than PayPal. Ah, when you're watching your dad instead of doing your English homework. Do your English homework, Suppoman. Ah, bless him. EOS. Yes, EOS is still doing really well at the moment. Any good questions, people? Nothing puts me off more than crap questions. The Clout ICO. I haven't looked at Clout, actually. USI Tech, there's been quite a few people. Only the dude is really talking about it in my chat. But USI Tech has been something people have been asking me to cover. I've not really looked at it. So there's something I may yet look at. If you're interested, guys, smash it in the comments in the when this goes down, when the live feed's finished. Smash in the comments what would you like me to cover. Superman, do you think December's hard fork of Bitcoin Silver will make the altcoin market dump or have people stopped trusting hard forks? That is a great question. Thank you very much for asking that question, because I think this is one that encourages me to think, and one that I can actually give a comment on. So, what has been happening, i.e. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and subsequently SegWit2x, which did or didn't materialize. What has happened is, over a kind of 3-week period, the cryptocurrency market go to topsy-turvies, okay? You're going to have days when Bitcoin spikes, altcoins slump, and then you're going to have days when Bitcoin slumps because there's been some overbuying and people are going to go back into the altcoins. But what you will notice about the altcoins is that they won't go higher than they were a couple of months ago. They will literally go up a bit to a slight recovery and then it will drop again. That tends to be what happens. However, I think that what's been building up is a bit of like, what's the word? Like a callus. So you know, like when you prick your finger with a pin, firstly, it bleeds. The first time you do it, it bleeds because it's not used to it. But the more you do it, the more you develop a callus, like a desensitization to it. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't bleed anymore. The same thing is going to happen with Bitcoin forks. What I think is going to happen is people are going to still pump Bitcoin because they want to get their free money. But I think there's a lot of people investing in Bitcoin now more than ever anyway. So people have already got quite nice holdings in Bitcoin. And people are going to try and accumulate more to get involved in the pump, as long as there's some some good dips to get involved. But what I do think is going to happen in the future is that these forks aren't going to have such a detrimental effect to altcoins. I don't think that altcoins are going to significantly tank while Bitcoin significantly soars during a fork. I think that we're going to see over time alts not drastically dip so much. They are going to dip still because Bitcoin are always going to get the majority of the attention at the time because everybody will be talking about it. Plus, people are going to want their free money. And when the forks occur, people will pretty much get one for one. There's been a precedent set. And until that precedent stops, which I can't see stopping, then people are going to still keep pumping Bitcoin. But I think there's going to be a desensitization as far as the altcoins are concerned. And people aren't going to necessarily dump their altcoins to get involved in Bitcoin. And that is my 10 sats on it. Powerledge is killing it. I know Powerledge is killing it. They're doing extremely well. GRS. What's GRS? Oh, Groestal coin. I actually put... Well, Groestal coin was 60 cents when I looked at it this morning, and it rounds up to about 60 cents. So roadmap's coming in 2 days. Well, I haven't heard anything about that from Groestal coin, but I have spoken with Groestal coin before, so I'm going to ask them if there's anything coming up and get back to you on that. Can you cover Gemma Green, Suppoman? Cover her in what is the question? Bad joke. Bad joke. Right, so Gemma Green. There's not really a lot to say about Gemma Green other than the fact she is virtually a brand in herself. She's got I think she's got 2 degrees or 2 diplomas. Certainly one of them from Cambridge University, which is obviously one of the top universities in the world. So you know, so she's obviously a very clever person that's building up her personal social currency. I mean, like her investability as a brand herself. So I think she's going to continue to go up with Powerledger, and her doing that is only good for Powerledger. So that's a great thing. I don't know about Neo Gold. There's been a lot of hype about Neo Gold because there's a lot of cryptocurrencies at the moment that have the name Ethereum or Bitcoin and then have some naff, you know, Neo Gold, Ethereum Blue, Ethereum Dark, Ethereum this, Ethereum that. So I think that these are really good for pumping, mostly. Neo Gold was the other day worth a hell of a lot more than it is now. Wow. Did it really go up to that much? 9 cents this went up to. I was looking at this when it was 2 cents. And it's spiked up and now it's gone drastically down. So, you know, I think these are really, really good for pumping and dumping. I don't think there's much long-term legitimacy around it. But that's my own 10 sats on it. Centra or 10x? Well, 10x have just recently released their new design cards, which I don't have. I've got the old design cards. So Julian, pop one in the post for me, will you? Anyway, so but having said that, there's not been a great deal of movement in 10x. On the other side of the equation, Centra have a lot more to prove because, well, I don't think that there's been the greatest amount of good publicity around Centra compared with 10x. 10x gets some great publicity, so 10x is what I would go with personally as a product. In terms of investing, well, 10x was at $6, Centra is yet really to spike up. So it's really up to you as from an investment point of view, but from an actual bank, from a cryptocurrency kind of, you know, buying stuff with cryptocurrency, really 10x I think is the better of the two. But that's just my own personal opinion. Neo Gold Hack, guys, don't buy. Let's have a look and see what you guys are saying. B3 coin have got a massive supply, but they are going to burn tokens. So although, you know, if you have a look at it, if you have a look at B3 today, it's not looking highly investable because it's gone down. It's lost about 2/3 of its value from the other day. And if you look at the supply, there's 188 billion currently in supply. So that is diluting the value with each and every day. But they are looking to burn this. So buy Suppoman coin, buy Suppoman coin. Guys, I think that's it for today because I think I've been on long enough. So I won't be on for... Let me have a look and see. Let me have a look and see how the camera's looking and see if the dark lines are starting to form. They are starting to form. So, yes. So, anyway, guys, if you haven't already, get this course. This course is what I believe to be the best cryptocurrency trading course I have ever seen. Of course, it's my own. Do you link your own arse, Suppoman? Well, what I will say is that this course... Well, I can watch it and learn something, if you know what I mean. So what I'm saying is that this is really good whether you're advanced or a beginner. It's particularly great for beginners because it's got a whole section here on cryptocurrency essentials, what you need to know. But really, this is perfect for strategies in cryptocurrency trading, which I have learned doing this for some time, and also bringing you daily videos where I have seen this stuff happening and I know the volatility of cryptocurrencies during these particular periods. So the strategies for cryptocurrency trading, how to prevent getting burnt, and the technical analysis sections are in itself, which is 23 lectures in itself out of a 43 lecture course. These are absolutely golden no matter where you are in your kind of trading lifespan, and also how to stay ahead of the trading game. And this is perfect just for $10, peeps, just for $10. And I saw some knobhead on YouTube. Look at all the chat. Oh, you can see the blooming chair behind me. I saw some guy. What's his name? Ryan. Can't remember his name. Ryan Crypto. I mean, this guy's an idiot. Where is he? It's not. There's two Ryans, but it's this guy here, Ryan Hildreth. Okay, so he's got some $400 course, which is stupid. So this one's only $10. So there you are, value for money, and saving you about $400 and something in the meantime. So guys, that's it. That is it, guys, for today's episode. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this has kind of clarified why Power Ledger certainly is very investable right now. Also letting you know a little bit more behind the whole Neo rumours, which have been very, very interesting for the community. So, yeah, so I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's also identified some coins worth buying today. Also, I hope it's kind of prepared you, I suppose, for the Bitcoin Silver Fork, which is due to happen in December. More info on that soon. So, guys, that is it for today's episode of Savage Crypto / Cash. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you, no doubt, tomorrow for another episode. So, guys, it is lights out, all out.